guys, we are going to be doing indicator 8 now. And as I told you when we did indicator 7, that unit 3 comprises of indicators 7 through 11. So this is the second part of unit 3, which is indicator 8. And as you can see, our learning target, I can identify parts of an expression using mathematical terms. So real quick again, what is an expression? An expression, you use numbers, you use variables, you use an operation sign, just like in PEMDAS, addition, subtraction, but there is no equal to sign, okay? Whereas in an equation, you do have an equal to sign. So that's the difference between the two. So right now we are learning how to identify parts of an expression, okay? So got to know some key vocabulary for that. So first thing is a coefficient. And coefficient, one thing I want to really get in your head, coefficient always comes before the variable. Coefficient always comes before the variable, okay? So coefficient always comes before the variable. Okay, so this basically means if I am writing 3x, okay, where we know that a coefficient is a number which is used to multiply with a variable. It's a number that is used to multiply with a variable. So it's always written before the variable because 3x means 3 times x. We just don't write the times because 3x means multiplication. Okay, so this number that is written before the variable, this is called the coefficient. This is the coefficient. Okay, coefficient always comes before the variable. Okay, then sometimes I also want you to know that we might just have something like this written out. Okay, and then when I ask students normally, and that error is always made, if just z is written, and I ask in the question, what is the coefficient? A lot of students write, there's no coefficient, or they write 0. Okay, now that is not correct. How many z's do I have? I have 1. Okay, so my coefficient is actually 1 because what is the rule of multiplication? 1 times any number is that number. Okay, and this is a variable, and I'm getting to that. What I mean by what I was just saying is because a variable is always multiplied with a coefficient. And a variable represents, so this is any letter in the alphabet, and a variable represents a number, okay, which we don't have yet. Okay, so this is the coefficient, this is the variable. If I'm saying 3x, it means I have 1x, I have another x, and I have another x. So I have 3 x's. Okay, that's why I have coefficient, which is 3. Okay, if I say just z, I only have 1 z. So if you were asked what is the coefficient over here, do not say that my coefficient is 0 because my coefficient over here is actually 1. And think about it, any number times 1 is the number itself. Okay, any number times 1 is the number itself. Okay, so basically a variable is a symbol for a number we don't know yet. It is usually any letter in the alphabet. A lot of times X, Y, Z is used, but it can be any letter in the alphabet that can represent a variable. Okay? So once again, coefficient always comes before the variable. If I'm saying 3x and you're asked which one is the coefficient, which one is the variable, you would write coefficient is 3 and variable is x in this case. In this one, you would say the coefficient is 1 and the variable is z. If I gave you m, you would say the coefficient is 1 because we have 1m. and the variable is m. Okay, so now that you understand coefficient and variable, let's talk about the other terms. Okay, we'll get to operator in a minute. Let's talk about constant. Let's talk about constant. Okay, so if I give you 3x plus 4y plus 10, and I ask you over here, now you can look and you can identify, and you know that 3 is your coefficient. You know that 4 is your coefficient because both of these are coming before the letter is called variable. So we have this is your variable and this is your variable. Okay, so now let's look at the other vocabulary words as to what does constant mean. So constant is a fixed value. Okay, in algebra, a constant is a number on its own, or sometimes a letter such as A, B, or C to stand for a fixed number. But right now, we're not going to talk about the letters because it is basically a number on its own. So if I say over here, if I look at it, this is not on its own. This is not on its own. The 10 is definitely on its own because I'm not multiplying it with any variable over here. So 10 is 10. Okay, we're not changing anything. Over here, it's going to change because 3 times whatever the value of x, 4 times whatever the value of y, but 10 is itself. So this 10 is a constant. This is a constant. Okay, and then operators are what? Addition or subtraction, or what that is going on. The operator meaning we've done out of operations. So that's where the word operator comes in. So this is my operator. And then this is my operator. Okay, because that's the order of operation, whatever we are using, the operation that we are using. So that's why that's the operator. Okay, then we have terms, and terms are basically separated by the plus or the minus signs. Okay, terms are separated by a plus or minus signs. And algebra, a term is either a single number or variable, or numbers and variables multiplied together. So if I look at this, we have a number and variable here, which is multiplied together, separated by addition. So here's another one. Separated by addition. So here's another one. So my terms here are 3x, that is one set, separated by addition. So then 3x, 4y, and 10. These are my 3 terms in this problem. Okay, so if you had to solve this and on your test or wherever you are given these problems and you are asked what's the coefficient or coefficients over here, okay, you would say my coefficients are 3 and 4. Okay, if you were asked what's the variable or variables, then you would look at, okay, how many alphabets do I have here that are connected over here? So we have x and we have y. So these are my variables. A variable represents a number. Please remember that, okay? Then if it asks what's the constant, remember the constant is the fixed number. So my fixed number is 10. Then if it asks what are the term or terms, you would say my terms are 3x, 4y, and 10. Okay, So pretty clear cut. What you're supposed to do, you got to be able to identify the different parts of an expression. And these are the mathematical terms for them. And remember, this is an expression because we don't have an equal to sign. This is an expression. 8 plus 10 is an expression. Unless I write is equal to 18, then it becomes an equation. Okay? So, let's do another problem. And if I give you what is the coefficient, the variable, the constant, and the term. Okay? So in this case, let's just write down what we are looking for. We're looking for a coefficient. We are looking for a variable. We are looking for a constant. And we are looking for a term or terms. Okay? So, okay. Now we've got a plus 6, which is an expression. And then what is the coefficient? As I said, if no number is written before the variable, that means there is one variable. Okay, there's one variable. So because you have one a. So that is why my coefficient is 1 in this case. Okay, my variable is the alphabet, which is representing a number. So you look at what is my alphabet over here, which is A, and that is the variable represents a number. So A is my variable. Okay, now constant, which one is a fixed number? It is 6. That's the constant. Okay, and then my terms, I have this term and I have this term. They are separated by addition. So my terms are A and 6. All right, so that's how simple this lesson is. Just got to know your vocabulary, and you will be given expressions like this, and all you're doing is identifying and writing it out like I just did. Okay, so and once again, please remember the difference between the expression and equation. All right, have a good day, guys.